And the slicer is going to detect that change and automatically will go to the slicer and it will select it. So then we don't need to come up with those strange workarounds with a slicer saying my last date and trying to always keep it right. Not anymore. So we're gonna have a measure that is gonna do that for us.
You have no idea what this they run around to just get this particular thing in Power BI right now. Wow. Hi, my name is Ebenezer Safwedu. I'm a business strategy consultant and a data specialist. And welcome to my YouTube channel after a big break. I went on a big break since my marriage ceremony, and I'm back with a big bang. And I'm back with no other than Miguel Myers. This interview, I've chased it for almost a year plus. We've all been busy one way or the other. And I'm so excited to have Miguel Myers. Miguel Myers is a principal product manager at Microsoft for Power BI. Miguel, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to have me. I'm really excited to be part of this webinar, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
All right, Miguel. So for those of us or those of my viewers who don't know who Miguel is, can you tell us who Miguel is, what Miguel does in Microsoft?
Miguel Myers works as a product manager for the Power BI data visualization space. So everything, all visuals, not only data visualizations, but visuals like text box, images, shapes, everything you can drag into the Canvas page, that's my territory. So my goal is to completely transform how we visualize and how we use data visualizations. I'm focusing on the report creator, so whoever that designs a report from scratch. But at the same time, these new features that I'm working on, I'm trying to move a little bit around it and make sure that whatever the author is capable to develop, the final end user can as well modify it. An example of that is the labels. When we are using labels, it's just up to the creator that decides if you want to see or not see the labels. But I want the consumer to have the power to say, I want to see them or I don't want to see them. So feature by feature, I'm trying to expose more capabilities for both the type of users, consumers and creators. So that's my role. That's what I'm doing in my area. Before this, I was working as a customer advisor, focusing entirely on report design and data visualizations. So customers, users used to come to me. I used to go to their companies, traveling around the world to show them how they can effectively communicate information with data. I worked doing this for 5 years, a little bit more than that. And finally, I got the opportunity to move from that team and become the product manager for the data visualization space.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive. Those of you who don't know Miguel has actually transformed how Power BI designs are done in the world. Hitherto, if you search online for Power BI reports, you'd have seen very traditional images of Power BI designs. And he worked with the Gartner data set on, I think it was about, I've forgotten what it was. And you changed the entire design. And I mean, Miguel has really transformed the whole visualization space with Microsoft Power BI. Hitherto, people did not know that Microsoft Power BI could do amazing stuff with designs. It was not seen as the tool to go to for visualization. It looked as a lower choice as compared to other options on the market. But Miguel has probably been the major change agent in how visualizations are done. and Microsoft themselves, I think all the beautiful designs you see with Microsoft templates have come from Miguel, and it's fantastic what he's done. I remember copying one of his designs in one of my HIV/AIDS dashboards on what you did with the last Bake Off
it was the Gardner?
Yes, the Gardner Bake Off flight, yeah. And it had this globe thing, and then like use the shape map to do something nice with the globe, like data around the globe. And I was like, no, I have to steal this. And I did it.
Yeah, it was not that easy. When I joined to Microsoft as for the first team that I worked with, people were really not happy for me to really take the design to that level. They want to see the traditional data visualization reports. And I was like, no. I want to take it to the next level. Please let me do that. But it was not easy. For you to see all those reports online that I have designed along the year. And soon I'm going to create a collection so then you can see them all since I started it. And you can see my evolution of how I evolve little by little until I have the ability to design reports at this moment. And as well for you to see how the tool has evolved. But at the beginning, it was not that easy. It's just persistence and do not let yourself down because people will criticize the way that you work. Just be proud of it and continue fighting for it.
Wow, this is a big motivation for me. I'm quite attached to Miguel because of his story and his great passion, determination I know he came from a very no data background. Coming into this area, he might share part of that story, but I'll catch him on that personal side on how he started, just doing some cleaning works, janitor stuff, waiting on tables, and now look at what he's doing. And his patience, his passion has brought him far. Can you give us a little bit of that side? We'll go deeper into that in our next interview when I get you, but just for our viewers to know that it's possible to actually become what you want if you have the patience. All right.
Yeah. I came from a really poor family. I used to be homeless for 4 years. I decided to run away from my home when I was 16 years old, and my house was the streets. And then I decided to travel through the desert to US, and I almost died in the desert. And I was living illegally in US for 8 years, doing everything I could to survive and to find myself a good life. But little by little, persisting and working hard, do not forgetting my dreams. It was the strength that I needed to continue. And now here I am trying now to help others.
Wow. If you know Miguel, it seems that a central theme of all that he's doing is to help others because he has been on the other side of the design and now he's at a position where he can actually influence how the designs are done. And he's doing just that. And it's fantastic. I think we give you a thumbs up as a community and users of Power BI, how day in, day out, you are bringing out easier ways for us to tell data stories to change our businesses. I think it's fantastic in what you're doing, and we applaud you for that.
Oh, thanks. No, it's the other way around. The community is the one that is bringing me here, and now I need to extend my hand to help the community too.
Well, thank you so much, Miguel. Let's go into, the future of Power BI visualization and what you have been working on. If you could take us stage by stage, like you just said, the evolution of Power BI and designs, as well as the future. Now it's over to you.
Yeah, of course. The important thing here is that we're going to do two different type of work. Number one, we're going to focus on quick wins. Quick wins is what developers called features that are going to take very few weeks to develop. but those features are so powerful that we were begging to have them for so long. One of those is the measure-driven data labels. That means that you can replace a label from any visualization and use a measure that brings another value or text. So you can do a lot of things with it. The plan we have at this moment is we are thinking two paths. The path number one is for you to replace the label by overriding a measure. And the second path is to give another type of labels. So I'll give you an example. So we have multiple type of labels. We have data labels, category labels, serial labels, detail labels, target labels. So we want to add another label that is going to be called measure label. And that is where you can expand it, and then you can use a measure to return that value or text or sentence based on that DAX measure that you have applied. The other part that if we do this, if we separate them, the goal for us is for you to even have the label plus the other measure-driven label in the same spot. We are thinking like maybe giving you the possibility to make them vertical, like one on top of the other one, and then you can decide if you want the value first or before, or if you want them horizontal, then you can have them with a separator of a comma or just a space between them, and then you can format one. Maybe the value can be bold, and the other one can be regular gray color. So now you can have a rich label that can work really well for line charts, for a star chart, for pie charts, etc. One thing that we want to do with this is we want to bring labels as a quick win. We want to bring labels everywhere. And I'll give you an example. The star chart, if you go and open a star chart, you're going to find out that the only label that the star chart supports is the category label. So when you have those bubbles and you turn on the labels, you can see the name of the bubble. So if the bubbles are representing countries, then you'll see every single country in each bubble. But it has happened to me, and I have heard from customers that they want to see the value too. They want to see how much the bubble size represents.
Without hovering.
And we don't have that. So for this quick win, what we want to do is, all right, let's support data labels everywhere, category labels everywhere, and other type of labels everywhere where it makes sense. Imagine what we have for the pie chart. In the pie chart, we have what it's called detail labels. So detail labels is a summarization or concatenation of multiple labels all together in one single label. And you decide if you want to see just the category label, or you can decide that you want to see only the data label or the percentage label, or all of them. Or all of them. But the problem with this is when it's time for you to choose the color, the size for that label, applies to all these three. And then you have these big labels everywhere when maybe what you want is to emphasize on the percentage and keep the other ones in lighter attention. So that's not possible. So we're going to divide them. We're going to give them everywhere. And then you can decide the type of format you want, the type of layout that you would like, if it's a vertical or horizontal, and see the order of those ones. So a lot of amazing stuff. I know it's hard to visualize it just by me explaining it, but I'll tell you, with that feature alone, we're going to be able to do a lot of stuff. It's a quick win, and it's going to change how we visualize certain information.
Wow.
So that's
one.
Go ahead.
So that's one quick win. And so what's
the other one? The other one that is so important is the default selection for slicers. So it's just the same thing that we're going to do for labels, to use measures to replace values. We're going to use measures to select values in the slicer. You can create a measure that says, please, always select the last date or the last month or the last 7 days, always. So your data every day is going to start growing. And the slicer is going to detect that change and automatically will go to the slicer and it will select it. So then we don't need to come up with those strange workarounds with a slicer saying my last date and trying to always keep it right. Not anymore. So we're gonna have a measure that is gonna do that for us.
You have no idea what this they run around to just get this particular thing in Power BI right now. Wow.
Yeah. So that's another quick win. Those are small things, really small, that actually for us, oh my God, they represent so much.
Yes.
While we do those quick wins, we're going to do another side of my work, which is more serious. That is to take the visualization space in whatever component that we're working on, and we will rethink how we have it, like how the infrastructure what it's sitting on is designed. So it might happen that I destroy that visualization or that component completely and start from scratch. One thing that I can tell you is sometimes it's going to happen. Sometimes all I'm going to do is make it richer or more complete. I'll give you those two examples in a moment. So for the ones that is just completing the work or making it a little bit richer, is going to be the container. So the visual container, for those one that don't understand that concept, is every single background box that the visualization sits on. Every element in Power BI contains a container. So if you insert a text box, that has a container. And how do you know that has a container? Because in the format pane, you can see a option that is called general. You click on general and you're going to see the container items, which is the title, the background, all those things, though that belongs to the container. So in my strategy or our strategy, because this is a collaboration between engineers, community representatives, and designers, in our strategy, we want to start with areas that impact the most of the visuals. And then we will do a gradual transformation. So then we do not break things really badly to many reports. So we're trying to be careful about this. And the container is the one that we believe is the foundation for everything. And then from there, we're going to do other features. For example, the labels, which is the next one, is very basic and applies to 80% of our visualization. So they are everywhere and so on, so on. So going back to what I was saying, the container, the evolution that we are doing is to let you change the properties in a much better way. We're going to add the subtitle. So now you have two areas to bring more context. We want have a divider. So then we have a proper visual of what is the header of the container and what is the body of the container. I hope that at some point I'm going to bring a footer so then we can use a bottom section on the container in the future. So then it can the information that you can deliver in one single visualization can be much powerful. And then we want to go to the container and expose icons. So I'll give you an example. At this moment, when you hover or when a user hovers a visualization, 3 dots appears in the top right. In the top right, there is like 3 dots. And if the final user is lucky enough to detect that there is like 3 dots, then they will explore more stuff, like they can export to Excel, or maybe they can expand the visual, they can drill down, many other stuff that they can sort. But the reality is that final users do not use those features because they don't discover those 3 dots. And that's a powerful feature because we are giving you a lot of tools, but we are making it hard to discover. So I am not going to redesign anything. All I'm going to do in the future is to expose it. So then the report creator can say, I want these three dots to be exposed when you hover, or I want to be exposed all the time. And then they can expose other icons. Maybe in that dialog, in the three dots, there are some icons or options that they want them to be used for the end users. And they want to expose it beside the three dots. So now you have an icon for drill mode, an icon for drill through, and then the three dots. And now the end user is going to be able to see, oh, look in the header, I can see those three icons. Let me see what they do. So now we're exposing those tools. And that's the transformation that we're doing for the container. We're not destroying anything and starting from scratch. That's what we're doing. For the card is the other way around. The card is one of the most used data visualizations we have. And the way that it works right now was not efficient. So I decided to really start from scratch. And the one that is coming is gonna be powerful. It's gonna be the best card that the industry in data visualization has seen. And I'm trying to be humble saying that, but it's really good. First of all, go ahead.
I mean, I used to tell people when I'm teaching them about visualization that the card is one of the most useless visualization because it wastes space. It's only displaying one thing, and for decision making, it's nothing. It's pretty much useless. It just looks good because you are reporting, but if it's not a report and it's for insights, then it is not useful at all because you need to add so many things to it. I think Gustave Dudek has tried to add so many objects to the card visual, like manipulating the card visual to be able to show changes and so many stuff to it. But it's too much tiring using the card, but it just displays one thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. So this new card will have a lot of good features. The first milestone that we are doing is to allow you to do the same thing that we do with the navigation buttons. For those ones that they do not know what is a navigation button, is a item or element in Power BI that automatically detects how many pages you have, and it creates a set of buttons where people can click and navigate from page to page. So if you add a new page, automatically the navigation buttons will add an extra button. If you change the name of that page, automatically the navigation button will change the label for that button that activates the navigation for that particular page. So somehow that navigation responds and creates that set of buttons in one single container. So you don't have 8 buttons. You have only one navigation button split into 8 pages. So the same technology we're going to use for this new card, and that's going to allow us for you to go into the field, drag a measure, put it into the field well, and it will create the card. And then you drag another measure, and it will split that into 2 cards, and 3 cards, 4 cards, and then you can say, I want a vertical layout. So I want to see all my cards one on top of each other, or I want them to see all horizontal, or maybe I want to see 4 up here and then 4 down here. So you can create a beautiful layout with a lot of cards right into one single container. So the performance that you're gonna get out of this is gonna be amazing, because instead of having so much, it is going to look amazing. And if you resize that card, it will respond really nicely. So you're not going to be forced to use huge cards that taking a lot of space in your report. Yeah, it can be in a compact space, and then people can just go and navigate and see the cards that they want to see. So we're going to work on that. It's a beautiful stuff. Then it's going to evolve, and we're going to be able to use small multiples in the card. Now, if you create 3 cards using 3 different measures, you can drag a categorical field and it will split those three into another three, or how like if you have the continents and you have Africa, Europe, Asia, America, or Oceania, it will split those three into five more buckets by itself. And then imagine that you can use field parameters to change those dynamically based on selections. So all your cards are going to be fully dynamic, and we're going to give you all the visuals. You're going to be able to align text, because right now the card just shows you center text, and you cannot have left or right. So this one is going to allow you to left aligned, right aligned. The card right now has the value, and then below has the label. So we're going to allow you to change the order. So if you want the label on top and the value below.
I was about to ask that, because we are forced to use title when we want it to be on top instead of the category label, but titles are not dynamic enough. So, I mean, this is a good one there. All right.
Yeah. So a lot of good stuff we're going to do for the card visual, along with some formatting options that we want to do. One that we are doing is the format code. Format code is I forgot the name of that language, but if you use Excel, you're going to feel familiar with it. You can select a cell and then go to format text or something like that. And it's going to show you if you want a numerical, decimal, and then text and date. And each of these format has a code that you can further customize. You can say, for example, in a code, if the value is less than 1,000, give me the regular value. If it's more than 1,000, give me the first one, give me one decimal, and put K at the end. And so you can create a lot of conditions to the format without modifying the value. So the value will show you like is a text, but actually the data being used is a numerical value. So you can use those codes now in Power BI the same way that we can use it in Excel. That means that every single card won't be tied by that particular selection for your data. What I'm trying to say is this. Imagine that we have three cards. The first card is a value for sales. The second card is a percentage. And the third card is a text, maybe the status or whatever it is. So you have number, percentage, and text. If we have one controller, as we have right now, and you say that you want 2 decimals for the percentage, it will give you 2 decimals for the number 2, and it won't do anything for the text, and so on. So there are other formats for text that maybe for numbers is not a good idea to have. So now with this new card, you're going to be able to specify exactly how you want to treat each of the cards inside of that container. So then each one will have its own parameters. You can apply different conditional formattings, and they can work with their own rules. And we want to do the same as we expand that card, and we want to allow you to use indicators below. So then you can have, just like the KPI card, we can have the goal. You can have the goal. You can have many other items below it that not necessarily needs to be related with the callout, but you want to have an extra indication. Maybe you want to have 2 indications below the callout, one for the growth of month over month, and below the growth of year over year. So we're going to allow you to have more than just one.
Probably if we could also have the percentage change showing either up or down in terms of an icon.
Yes. And all that is going to be available. So the KPI card, the problem we have is that only takes the last data point in your trend. Only you can put a target below or goal below. If you need something else that is not a goal, is not available. So with this new card, you're going to have all that and more. And then we're going to be able to create trends or bullet charts that you can use. The trends, you are not going to be attached to a particular calendar date or date in your data. you can say for my sales, I want the date coming from this table. So show me the trend using this date from X table. And then for my percentage, I want to see a trend by using another date from another table. So you can use a lot of trends, not necessarily sharing by all these cards. And that will give you more individual freedom of personalizing each card. So that's what I mean, transforming the visualization. You can see that this is completely, we haven't seen that. We don't support in any visualization that type of capability. And I'm working on scratching again, like destroying again, and building from the ground up.
Wow, these are amazing stuff. Could you help us with our mind? A certain sneak peek. You've spoken about them, but could we have imageries of what the prototype is supposed to be? So that
it's so important. It's so important that these prototypes I'm going to show you is just what we call product manager mockups. So what we do is, as product manager, I need to specify a lot of stuff. But sometimes, just like I'm doing right now, by just mentioning it, you can miss some of the things I want to tell you. So I need to find graphical manners to express what I'm trying to do with all the features. So what you're gonna see is not the end product. What I'm gonna show you is maybe less than what you're gonna get, because it needs to pass through engineers and the designers have to pick it up and see what they can actually improve. And finally, it's gonna go into production and then testing. So what you're gonna see is just basically ideas of what we are gonna do and how we wanna plan it. So please do not take that as this is what I'm gonna get, and because it might change, not for bad, but maybe for better.
For better, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll show you. Let me know when you can see.
To rumble.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so this is the container. So what we're gonna do now is to give you the title, the subtitle, and finally we're gonna be able to use margin around it. So you can move things and keep everything with a empty space or negative space around your container. This is the divider that I said that you're gonna have, and you can turn this off and on, and you can use a subtitle and as well don't use it, and then you're gonna have a traditional visual with the title and the content without this divider. So that's the one thing. The other one is this one. So like I said, we want you to expose this one. So instead always showing these three dots when you hover, they will be always on and people can easily see them. And then you can say, I want the pin icon to be exposed, and I want the drill mode to be exposed, or maybe the sword icon to be exposed. And you can add different icons here. Maybe you want to use your own icon. And here you can create your icon to do something else. So that's one. The other one is we want to take the container further for customization. So then you can have an accent bar. You can change and add an image in the header and more stuff. So we want to give you more and more control over the settings that the container has to offer. The other one is this one, which is the one that I said, one single container will carry two cards. We will support for that tooltips, and we're going to support drill through for this first step. Then we're going to be able to split this using small multiples. So if I have two cards and then I use continent, then I'm going to be able to split this ones into two buckets. Then we're going to add indicators that I said. As you can see here, this one is a value that is attached to this callout. So it gives you the distance and an icon. But you can omit that and you can use only text or another value. So you're going to have a lot of freedom here that not necessarily the indicator will need to be linked with your callout. And you can see that some of them will have two, another ones will have one, another ones will have three. It's going to be up to you, but each individual set of cars have the potential to grow more indicators. And then, this is what I said, we're going to be able to add trends in your visuals. And we're going to be able to give you bullet charts. So then we can use some kind of horizontal gauge for you to display the data. And finally, if everything goes well, we're going to allow you to use bookmarks. So imagine that you want, when somebody clicks on the head count, they want to go to another page. So then you can use a bookmark and attach to this particular card. And when somebody hovers, the whole card will change color, and then somebody can click and go to another page, or maybe hide the visual or replace it with something else, like using bookmarks in general. Or trigger actions.
Yeah, I love the whole idea with the time frame being shown there, because it helps a lot. Like I see January 2018 to December 2018. I mean, that makes it clear to the end user what actually is being portrayed.
Displayed, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. So that's something else that we have an issue with the KPI card, that is not that, sometimes it's not that clear. And we're going to add a new label below the card. As you can see, let me show you that part, because I always forget to mention that. You can see here that we don't have it. So in the first card that we're going to give you soon, you're not going to see that feature. But as later on, as we evolve, we're going to bring it. And when we get into the trend, then we're going to have it. So you're going to have not only these indicators that we gave you in the, or that we will give you in the previous milestone, but then we will give you another label that can be that it can give more context to the chart that we're going to add later on. To give you some ideas of what I mean, let me show you. I had another mock-ups in the past that I did, but those ones will explain much better what I'm trying to say. So, here, I believe this is the one. No, here. So here we have two examples. So this one is supposed to have a dot in here, like this, and it should show you like, okay, so this dot is December 3rd of 2018. But then you maybe want the whole, like the sales, not for the last point, but you want for the whole trend. So this one will tell you that this value comes from this, starts from this date and ends to this date. That's something we don't have. Let me see if I have something here. Like here is. So you can see that these are the mockups. So in one way, we can create dots here to tell you exactly which date you are. Another ones will be a range of dates. Maybe you want to only see the last 2 months, and you want to show that in the trend. And we will allow you to select between a column chart, area chart, or line chart. And right now the KPI card only supports area chart, but we want to give you that type of selection, so then you can play with this. But it's really interesting. See how this was the first mockup that I did, and this one is the new mockup. They are quite similar, but they have been changed because there are requirements that we have. So that's what I'm saying. These are just mockups that I do in order to really nail down or try to plan the strategy, but not necessarily is going to be exactly what you see.
Wow, these are beautiful. I mean, the look and feel of it even looks different. With the whole where the title is, where the multiple columns are, the Europe and the America, and I'm sure you'll be giving us the opportunity to format those areas to choose the colors.
Yeah, my principle is, if you see it, you should adjust it. So if you see color here, you should adjust it. If you see a border around this card, you should adjust the color. Everything you see, you should be able to manipulate.
Wow, this is fantastic. I mean, we can't wait to start using this. I'm building a report, and if I had this, I pretty much would just use cards throughout, and then
Right?
they could have a bookmark to go into each one, and then get a detailed report, because this is like a summarized report for executives. So any executive can just, so mostly that's what they'll be using. Imagine if I have operations in like 10 regions. All I need is just one. Let's say if it's a sales dashboard, I just need one card for each region, and I'll be able to tell exactly what is happening. If I want details with the bookmark feature that you're talking about, I can then just click, go to the detail page and see what is happening, what is wrong with it. And these are going to also respond to slices. So you could slice and dice even on the first page. I mean, this changed the whole reporting, especially the summary pages where you are tempted to put everything and nothing there. I mean, this is pretty much amazing.
And imagine this is just the beginning.
Wow.
I just took this role in December, and the first features that I was working on started in January, but you're gonna see them developed by March or the latest April. So we're just starting, and you can see the impact, the transformation that we are doing here. Imagine in the next 2 years, the tool is going to be completely different of what we know.
Do you have the mock-up for the details, the labels?
The labels? Yes.
Yeah.
Let me show you some things about the labels. Okay, share my screen. Hope you can see.
Yeah.
So this is what I meant. You can have rich labels, and each label can be laid out in different ways. Maybe you want the data label to be bigger in black, while your measure label can be green. And this measure label is based on a DAX measure. And we want to allow you as well to specify only show me the last or the first point of my data labels and stuff like that. And if vertical is not good for your report, then you should decide maybe horizontal. So in this case, here we have the country and then the sales. Or maybe you want to have something like the value first, and the separation between them, you don't want the comma, you want just the space. And the next one could be just the initial that says sales. So now every label is going to say the value and sales, the value and sales, the value and sales. And it will keep a horizontal layout. So that's what we want to do for labels. We want to support category labels everywhere. At this moment, bar chart doesn't have a category label, but we want to support it. And that's going to be around all our visualizations. But this is more or less what we want to do for that. There are other work, like other stuff that I'm trying to do, but I'm still on mockup. So this is what I meant about the scar chart doesn't support values or data labels. So we're going to allow you to do that. So then if you have if you have the options to have both, you can have the category label that actually is given by the visual, and then you can have the data label that you can add on top. And then you can say that you want a comma as a separator. So it can look like this, or you can say that you want the value to be in between parentheses.
Yeah.
And maybe you can say that you want the value to be less size than the other one. So now you can see how much things you can actually apply to the conditional formatting stuff and the value. So in this case, imagine two things. Number one, you can have them both. Number two, you can create a condition that says only show me the name and the value of the largest country.
Yeah.
And everything is going to continue being small or no labels, and only the largest will have that rich label. So finally, labels are going to be quite amazing to use, because at this moment, all we have is, do you want to turn them on or turn them off? And that's it. There is nothing else. But now we really take the next step in label usage, and making sure that the visualizations only display the information that really matter to see.
Yeah. So that means you can say if it's above 20, show the country and the value.
Yeah.
All right. Which makes it significant.
It's huge. It's huge. It sounds silly, like it's a very small stuff, but when you think a little bit about the number of visualizations that rely on labels, like I said before, it's 80% of all our visualizations depend on labels. And having this capability to that extent, it will change the game.
Okay. These are mind-blowing changes that are coming the future, and you're saying this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Our path is, we do container first, along with some capabilities with the wallpaper and the canvas. And then we're going to go and do the labels. And after labels, we're going to do plots. The plots is like all the bubbles, the bars, the columns, the lines, the areas, all those plot graphs and charts, where we're going to go and transform them. So we want to support transparency on plots. So then when you have bar charts, you can make them a little bit transparent, so then you can see the grid lines behind. We want to allow you to have outlines around the columns. As I showed you before, the scar chart has a outline around it, and then inside has a transparency. So we want to do the same for column charts and area charts, so then you can change transparency and add outlines around it. And we want to support patterns. In this case, you can have columns with dots inside, so then you can create differentiations between one and the other ones. And we want to make sure that the bubbles scale perfectly. At this moment, the bubbles are not quite the right scale. So we're going to change that, and we're going to make exactly the size that they should be, etc. So there are many, many features that we want to do for charts, plots, and graphs. And then after that, we're going to jump into legend. So we're going to transform the legends how we have. We're going to create an other bucket. So if you have a pie chart with 50 categories, but you only want to display 6, and the other, you just want to put them in one bucket that is called other, we're going to allow to do that, and so on. So there is many improvements that we want to do for the legend. And then after legend, we're going to do primary axis and then secondary axis. The primary axis includes adding ticks, improving the grid lines, and doing more stuff for hierarchy axis. So one example that I can give you when we go into the primary axis is the column chart supports hierarchy axis. So you can have multiple levels of categories stacked. But the bar chart doesn't support that, because we're going to work on primary axis. We're going to support that to all visualizations. So you're going to be able to use a hierarchy axis on bar charts and other visualizations that can use it in a good way, and so on. So that's our first 6. Again, container, card, labels, then plots, and then legend, and then axis, and so on. So little by little, your report is going to be transformed. Slicers is something that we are thinking to do small steps. But when we finish with Cartesians, which is once we finish with axes, and then we finish with small multiples, then we will jump into slicers, and we're going to transform slicers completely as well. So we're going to have better behaviors, more controls. A lot is coming there too. I can see you smiling.
I'm so happy because, I've always stuck with Power BI and put all my bets in Power BI, especially in my part of the world in Africa. I've always told people that tool is just that, and it's just enough. Don't, whatever we want to see, let's help it make it better so that it's easier, because it's always difficult moving from one tool to the other to learn everything from scratch, because there are so many elements in a tool. Yeah. And with a tool like Power BI having all the three parts, transformation, data loading, and visualization, now another level altogether, with the analysis part being the DAX itself. And I mean, you have all of you need for data wrangling and data visualization at one point. So I've always said to people that wait and see how the future of this is going to do amazing. I mean, all the parts of Power BI are just starting. You're talking about visualization, the same with the AI stuff in terms of analytics. It's just starting. The Power Query is just about starting, even though it has enormous capability. So I'm happy to see and hear this, because, you know, when you make such a bet, it's very dangerous, because you're sticking up with just one tool and you're expecting it to deliver all that you want at once. And you are doing just that. So I'm so excited to see the future.
It's bright. The future is bright.
My question is, what happened to the histogram chart? I just realized it's histogram.
Yeah,
could you in the future look at the histogram chart for us?
The histogram is something that we want to do with the axis work. When we do the primary axis, at this moment we have linear axis and categorical axis. So we're going to support another one that is going to be numerical axis. So now any type of column chart and bar chart can now use a histogram approach, where you can create buckets and make them, basically you can transform your column chart into histogram. So we are thinking that maybe it's not necessary to bring a histogram chart per se, but give the capability for these columns and bar charts to do that job.
That would be amazing. That's one thing I miss, because my old report can actually use the Microsoft developed histogram, but my new reports don't have access to that. So that's great to hear. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so what are we talking about? Timelines? Are we seeing it this year, next year? Like, major of the transformations, within which time frames are we talking about?
I'll say for the container and the car visual, expect that in March or April, the latest. For the measure-driven data labels, I'm going to do my best to be done by April. And then the next ones that we're going to do for labels, you should start seeing them by May, June, July. So it's not just going to be one label stuff. We're going to do a lot of things for labels. So you're going to see some of the improvements in June, another ones in July, another ones in August, until we finish them all. But this year, what we want to focus is entirely on that container, the car visual, and labels. So then for the next semester, we can focus finally on plots and legends. I hope that gives a good indication of when, but that's more or less what we have in our roadmap.
That's fantastic. If we're able to have what you're saying, right? I mean, that changes. The sad part would always be going back to your old reports to redesign.
yeah. There is nothing I can do with that.
It can be very much painful when you have been using some report for 3 years, and you'll have to bring the entire back with the foundation. And it's easier building new reports with the new inputs, but when you have to go back, what we'll do it.
Yep. We'll give you a way when, for example, the card, when you click on that old card, is going to show you a window saying that we have a new card if you want to upgrade that card. So then just by clicking that button, it will update all the cards in your report. That's one thing that we can help you to really upgrade with the latest. But you still need to apply the new formatting options to make sure that that card actually looks more professional.
It's amazing what the future holds for Power BI, just on the visualization part. I think I spoke to, I think Amand started giving us these hints. Amand Armstrong, or I've forgotten, he's in the Netherlands. I think he spoke to you and started hinting some of the great stuff that you are doing. And we're all happy. We're all putting our support here to ensure that the tool becomes all that we wish for and even more. That's amazing. My last bit, can you show us some of your amazing reports? And then probably we can, some amazing reports that you have built.
Oh, I stopped designing since August. I'm working, trying to get into the PM role, but let me see. I have something here to show you, easy to reach. Oh, Ebenezer, you didn't say that I need to show a report. Otherwise, I will be ready here with something. I'm trying to find something here. What can I show?
Because you design some of the most beautiful reports we've all ever seen. So we'll be happy to see
something, right?
Yeah, from the master himself. So
I'm trying to open one report here. Like I said, I'm gonna put in a place in like a gallery area all the reports that I have done along the years. So then you can go and just take it, borrow some ideas, and learn from some of my some of the things that I have done. I honestly think that that's a good way to grow. Sometimes even copying a report and try to replicate it is a good practice for you to understand the principles that were applied. I think the report is opening. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. This is a report that I did long ago. I like it because it's such a nice and clean report. I believe with the features that I'm going to start developing soon, we're going to have better ways to manage that. But this is a sales demo that I designed a year ago. And what this one does is you can see here that we have the range of sales in the last 10 years. And the bubbles, these circles tells you where you are. So for example, here you can see that for total sales, we have this. And for sales margin, we have this. And 14% for sales margin. But then when you click on a month, you can see that changes. And we have a label here that gives you a more indication, and you have another one here, and then you can switch from monthly to cumulative. And the area in this visual tells you in the last 10 years. So in November, this was the maximum in the last 10 years. And this is the minimum on the last 10 years. And you are exactly here. So now you can compare yourself along 10 years. Instead of having 11 lines in here, so for comparison, you can see the area that gives you an indication where you are. So it's a really cool stuff. I can see by like change, and now you can see the change over time. I use the line as indication, and there is a lot of cool stuff here. I put two tables to give you more information. They change as well, but it's a really nice. I create this navigation that people can use to go to different pages. And this one is like a overview page that tells you everything like right away, like where you are with your sales. And you can see this by product to see which product is more like performs better. And you can go to by customer and see which is the best customer. You can sort this one by name or by totals, but at least this is going to give you a good indication. Then we have the product overview. Here you can see the high performers are in this area, the top performance, the low profits, and then achievers are here. So it's easy for you to see which ones matter the most. And still a trend, the table that allows you to collapse and expand the information that you really want to see, etc. So there is it's a really clean report, not that fancy or too much on it, just really light. Here we have a decomposition tree. You can change that based on multiple sales, so sales margin percentage or total sales cost or total sales. And here we have the indicators. All of them are supporting some kind of tooltip to see the trend of each one.
Wow.
But that's I mean, it's not that crazy, but at least it gives you good ideas of how
It's
can
very
you.
useful.
Yeah,
It's very useful. I mean, that's one thing I like about your designs is it's soft but very useful. I mean, not too much. It's useful. That's what industry needs. Not too much color. Too like it's mild. It's useful for like this can easily stand at any presentation for management, top management. And I mean, this is over the top. You see, viewers. I mean, I told you Miguel is the guy. I can just imagine what you're going to do if the new updates come with
Imagine. Yeah, this report is a year old, but with the new stuff, oh my God, this is gonna look ugly once we implement this
stuff. Oh, wow, this is lovely. Maybe I'll catch you one day on. You had this presentation on principles of design. Hopefully one day I'll catch you on that and probably talk to you on that. On that note, viewers, okay, do you have any other thing you'd want us to know, Miguel?
Yeah, I do. So we have, I have a like a new methodology that we are doing to develop these features, and that it's working with the community nonstop. I have selected at the beginning. I need to select it because nobody has done this one at any time. I am still trying to catch up in a new role that I never had experience extensively, and I decided to just take 12 people that I know they're really vocal about complaining about Power BI or loving Power BI. I didn't want to bring people that were just easy to deal with. I want to bring people that are really hard to deal with, so then we can have different opinions. But these 12 people, you can find me in my LinkedIn, and I have posted a list of community representatives. And they are the ones that will hear your concerns as well. They have experience with their own customers, working with Power BI for so many years. They know the tool really well. Some of them are high designers, and other ones are visual developers with a ton of experience coding and understanding the infrastructure of Power BI. So they are reviewing every single thing that I do. They are testing the features before they get live, and they are reviewing design proposals from the design team once they are working on the design part of the feature. They are along the way, and they're supposed to represent you. So you can come to me. I am always open to hear your opinions and your feedback. I respond most of the comments that I get every day. You can reach out to me, share your ideas, how you feel with these features, or you can reach out to them as well. Follow them in their channels, see what they are presenting and their opinion regarding certain visuals, because they are giving us that information that we need. Later on, once we understand that this process really works, I'm going to increase the amount of people in these community representatives, and I'm going to find people in Africa that can represent the continent. In each continent, I want to have a specific number of representatives. And I want to have a balance between different gender and different races. Like I want to have backgrounds from everywhere. So then the tool can be richer and richer, not only through my point of view, but as well from the point of view of all of you. But from now on, I mean, at this moment, please just get close to us, share your concerns, share your ideas, your problems. That's the most important part. I am not developing features just because it's a wish list. I'm developing features because I'm trying to solve problems. Every single feature that you're saying is based on a big problem that users are facing. So if you have problems, if you have challenges with your customers using Power BI, bring that to me. I do not just hear it, comes here and then goes there. No, I take that information, put it in a document, organize it. So then when I'm ready to work on that feature, I won't miss that you send me that comment. So I take this job really seriously, and I take your advice and your participation really seriously as well. So please just bring them. I have the only social media that I use is LinkedIn. I have a Twitter account, but I think I check that account once every month. But I am not a social media fan. But in LinkedIn is the only one that I use. So reach out to me there, send me an invitation, send me messages. I will be glad to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Miguel Myers. I mean, it's been amazing, the depth in this interview. Like I said, I'll catch him on another time for him to share his passion with us, the customer service side as well as design side. Hopefully this year I'll get him on 2 more occasions for him to show us the way, because he's dedicated to helping others. So that's what we'll do to make him help us. All right. On that note, viewers, we've come to the end of part 1 of mini series with Miguel. He is the principal product manager for Microsoft, especially in charge of the data visualization. He has a big work on his shoulders to ensure that we get what we want. And he's doing just that. He's told us about the new things he's bringing by April, somewhere, some by June, some next year. And we are waiting patiently for that. He's also told us about how he's building with the community, and he has selected 12 of the community members that we can see on his LinkedIn page. So it's very useful that you can get in touch with these ones, also to make sure that you can make your grievances known to the product team. I think it's amazing and wonderful what Miguel has done single-handedly as a person for the community of designers and data storytelling. I'm sure the world to come, people would never be able to talk about data storytelling without mentioning his name. Fantastic work done so far, and we are happy to always support. And from my viewers to you, we say thank you. And remember to subscribe my channel. This is brought to you in conjunction with my company, Eureka Business Intelligence. We are hoping to host the Africa Power BI Summit later this year, and we'll reach out to Microsoft at the right time. Subscribe to my channel, and let's enjoy Power BI together. Thank you very much, Miguel.
My pleasure.